On this week's episode of Who Deserves to be Inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, we look at the case for putting the iconic Miss Diana Ross in as a solo artist. This week, we are going to take a look at the case for putting Detroit, Michigan's Diana Ross into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a solo artist. I know, she's already in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a member of the Supremes, but guess what though? More than a few artists are in for both their group and solo careers, among them being Stevie Nicks as a member of Fleetwood Mac, Eric Clapton as a member of the Yardbirds and Cream, and every single member of the Beatles, including their manager, I might add. Diana's solo career is as impressive as her career with the Supremes, so let us go over the stats and I'll show you what I mean. To the tail of the tape we go. Diana Ross released 26 studio albums, 5 soundtrack albums, 5 live albums, 30 compilation albums, and 1 EP. Of those, 31 hit the top 40 on the American charts, with 16 of those 31 going top 10, including 3 studio albums that went to number 1. 1970's self-titled debut solo album, 1973's Touch Me in the Morning, and 1980's Diana, along with her 1972 soundtrack to the movie Lady Sings the Blues, which was loosely based on Billie Holiday. In case you thought that she wasn't an international superstar, think again. For instance, in the United Kingdom, 33 of her albums hit the top 40. Of those, 11 hit the top 10, including one that hit number 1, which was 1993's compilation album One Woman, The Ultimate Collection, which wasn't that ultimate because they came out with 16 more compilation albums after that. So really, how ultimate could it be? Anywho, in America, Diana had 2 studio albums go platinum. 1980's Diana, which sold over 10 million copies worldwide, and 1981's Why Do Fools Fall in Love, along with 6 gold albums. In the United Kingdom, 1993's compilation album, like I said, One Woman, The Ultimate Collection, went 4 times platinum, while she also had 7 other albums go platinum, 16 others go gold, and 7 go silver. The reason why she doesn't have more certified platinum albums in America, at least, is that her record label at the time, Motown Records, didn't join the Recording Industry Association of America's certification system until around the middle of Diana's heyday. Diana Ross also released 116 singles. Of those, 62 went top 40 on the various American charts, with 37 of those 62 going top 10, including 18 of those 37 going to number 1. In the United Kingdom, 43 of her songs went top 40, with 19 of those 43 going top 10, including 2 of those 19 that went to number 1, 1971's I'm Still Waiting and 1985's Chain Reaction. In America, Diana's 1981 duet with Lionel Richie, the theme song from Endless Love, went platinum, and her 1991 hits Upside Down and I'm Coming Out, both produced by Nile Rodgers of Chic, went gold. In the United Kingdom, 3 of her songs went platinum, 5 went silver, and 1 went gold. Along with Upside Down, I'm Coming Out, and Endless Love, Diana also had huge hits like Ain't No Mountain High Enough, Love Hangover, Muscles, Reach Out and Touch Somebody's Hand, which was her first hit solo single, Touch Me in the Morning, the theme from Mahogany, Do You Know Where You're Going To, Ease On Down the Road from The Wiz, The Boss, she was the original boss before Bruce Springsteen started getting called The Boss, just for the record, It's My Turn, Why Do Fools Fall in Love, Missing You, which was her tribute to Marvin Gaye, who had passed away around that time, and so many other songs. As a solo artist, Diana sold over 100 million records. She is the 11th greatest female artist of all time and the 47th greatest artist of all time, male or female, both according to Billboard magazine. Diana was nominated for 9 American Music Awards, winning 8 of them, 3 Golden Globe Awards, winning 1 in 1973 for Most Promising Newcomer. She was nominated for a BAFTA Film Award and an Academy Award in 1973 for Lady Sings the Blues, but didn't win. 13 Grammy Awards, winning 2. And she won a special Tony Award in 1977 for her Broadway show An Evening with Diana Ross. She's also been awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom Award and has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame as a solo artist. As far as who she's influenced, well, if you are a woman who is involved in R&B and dance music, then your musical family tree basically begins with Diana Ross, along with Dionne Warwick, Chaka Khan, and Tina Turner. So, why hasn't Diana Ross been inducted, even though she's been eligible since 1995 for her solo career? I suspect that a lot of people have forgotten just how popular she really was. Sure, she put the D in diva in both the best and worst sense of the word on occasion. Sure, the public might know her from the numerous times that I'm Coming Out has been sampled, most notably by Notorious B.I.G. and Puff Daddy. They might also know her as actress Tracy Ellis Ross's mother and singer Ashlee Simpson's mother-in-law. Plus, they might now know her for her carpet-stopping performance, you might say, at the 2025 Met Gala, when she literally shut down the carpet to make her entrance. And wow, what an entrance it was. However, since she doesn't do an awful lot of performances or appearances on social media or anywhere, except this year in 2025 when she was at the Met Gala, a couple of generations have kind of slept on her music at least. They only know her for being the diva. That should change, because Diana Ross deserves the respect, especially since there are a lot of artists who are in the hall that are far less qualified than Diana Ross. Diana Ross absolutely deserves induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, since she's already in as a member of the Supremes, who also deserved in. She should be in as a solo artist. And that is it for who deserves to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We also invite you to check out our other podcast, the Music History Today podcast, where we go over what happened on that date in music history. That podcast drops daily, including weekends, on this channel that you're either watching or listening to this podcast on. We also have the Music History In-Depth podcast, where we go more in-depth into the events that happened for that week in music history. And that podcast posts every Tuesday on this channel that you're either watching or listening to this podcast on. Thank you very, very much for listening or watching if you're on YouTube or Spotify.